Thank you, Leskim Korla. All of us in this chamber share a deep sense of duty to our children.
I'll ask you, are you moving Amendment 2? If you're not, it's not an issue.
I am not. Sorry, I am moving the counter motion.
Yeah, you're moving Amendment 2.
Yes, an amendment.
So move it.
Sorry?
So move it.
I will move the amendment to the motion.
Amendment 2. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Sorry if sorry if
not
you're
at
taking
all.
offence of
Thank
me.
you. No. I'm very happy to learn.
I want to remind you.
Thank you.
Okay, continue.
Okay. I am. All of us in this chamber share a deep sense of duty to our children. And with this in mind, I do welcome the tabling of this motion by members, the gentleman of the Labour Party. The government's actions and commitment, I think, is reflected in the counter motion. We must invest if we want to deliver for our children. And in the case of my own department, the gross amount of funding being made available in 2019 is just over 1.5 billion euros, as the deputy said I would refer to. Many deputies will be aware of our radical new approach to childcare, with a 117% increase in investment since 2015, which has seen families of 84,000 children get extra supports. And this year's 574 million investment brings us to a new milestone, and that is the affordable childcare scheme, again, which one of the deputies spoke about at length. We are also using the opportunity to deliver more benefits. Changes in thresholds. We'll see an estimated 7,500 more children that will benefit from the scheme, while over 40,000 other children already eligible will get extra. And getting us to this point has been a huge task. New laws were needed, as well as one of the most complex IT projects undertaken by government in recent years. We are building a childcare infrastructure which will last for generations. And to directly answer the deputy's question, in terms of my last set of meetings with my officials, we are on target in relation to the 2019 hoped for full implementation. As a minister as well, I'm honoured to have been able to bring the budget for TUSLA, the Child and Family Agency, past the €750,000 for the first time ever. This supports care and social workers, I think, who are transforming lives in our communities every day. I have seen the work at first hand. It also allowed us to end the 20 years of debate across 5 governments to make mandatory reporting a reality, as demanded by children's rights experts and campaigners. Of course, the demands are big and must be responded to. And so just 2 weeks ago, I was delighted to join TUSLA and the HSE to launch a new training resource which gives frontline teams the skills to identify hidden harm. This important initiative will ensure care, social and addiction workers can respond when the behavior of addicted parents impact on children. And an estimated 600,000 children are at risk in our country for this. The spirit and the specifics of the Labour Party motion, I think, are responded to comprehensively in the recent publication of First Five. For the first time ever, there's a 10-year plan to improve the lives of babies, very young children, and their families. The Department of Health will develop a dedicated child health workforce. The Department of Justice and Employment Affairs and Social Protection, they will have initiatives to support parents to balance working and caring responsibilities. So this is an exciting time, and I look forward to giving an update and an implementation plan after Easter. Where children are homeless, my department works closely with TUSLA to provide supports. TUSLA provides spaces where homeless children and families can avail of services in a safe, warm, welcoming space where they feel comfortable and respected, and therefore mitigate some of the impact of being in those settings that their deputy referred to. Funding is now available as well to approved housing bodies to acquire accommodation to young children, to young people leaving state care under the Capital Assistance Scheme, which is operated by the Department of Housing, Planning and Local Development. At the end of December of 2018, a total of 50 properties had been acquired under CAS. 30 units have been sold, 20 units are at sale agreed, and 10 young people have been housed. 2019 will see an increase in these figures. The government is determined to increase the stock of social housing by 50,000 homes by 2021 under Rebuilding Ireland, with money ring-fenced to achieve this. There's a 25% increase in the current spending budget for the provision of homeless services, which brings to €146 million the total for 2019. In addition, 60 million in capital funding was provided in 2018 to allow for the development of further homeless facilities, including family hubs. The government already has a strategy in place to deal with child poverty. Better Outcomes, Brighter Futures includes a target to reduce by 2/3 the number of children in consistent poverty in 2011 by 2020, and I was just with the Advisory Council this morning discussing how we can continue to move towards that goal, perhaps in an increasingly ambitious manner. A whole-of-government approach to tackling child poverty then is being adopted. It builds on the life cycle approach in the National Action Plan for Social Inclusion and is informed by the European Commission's recommendation on investing in children and breaking the cycle of disadvantage. In relation to adoption, I am committed to progressing the Adoption Information and Tracing Bill 2016 to committee stage in Dáil Éireann as quickly as possible. This legislation provides adopted people and other relevant people with statutory rights to information and to a tracing service. It also protects relevant records by bringing them into the custody of the Adoption Authority of Ireland. It seeks to balance the rights to identity and to privacy. I'm continuing to actively explore all options to facilitate the release of as much information as possible to adopted and other relevant persons, and will introduce any necessary amendments at committee stage. And in light of my very intensive negotiations recently with the Attorney General and his office, I anticipate having improved recommendations and amendments at that committee stage. Parenting supports, of course, parents do need our support. The increasing focus on parenting has developed in a somewhat fragmented manner and across government departments and state agencies. So that's why in November of 2018, my department established a dedicated parenting support policy unit to help realize the state's duty in supporting parents by leading out on the important work of coordinating policy direction and activity relating to parenting support. The new Parenting Support Policy Unit will collaborate with others to streamline and improve existing parenting supports to ensure that all parents are supported to parent confidently and positively. The Adoptive Leave Act 1995 provides an entitlement to 24 weeks adopted leave for an employed adopted mother or a sole male adopter. The Department of Justice and Equality identified a lacuna as well in the Act 1995 that prevents male same-sex married couples from availing of adopted leave and benefits. They've prepared draft legislative proposals to amend the Act to afford the same entitlements to adoptive leave and benefit to all couples who are married or cohabiting or who are in civil partnership, irrespective of gender. These amendments will be included alongside legislative provisions to introduce a new paid parental leave scheme announced as part of Budget 2019. It's expected that the legislation will be progressed this year. Minister Doherty is also concerned that the issue of parenting rights for same-sex couples should be addressed speedily, as am I. To this end, the government have approved the preparation of the Civil Registration Bill of 2019, and commencement of these amendments is also dependent on commencement of Parts 2 and 3 of the Children and Family Relationships Act of 2015. The Minister for Health intends that these provisions will be commenced as soon as possible. The issue of citizenship that Deputy Howland raised. The motion seeks to introduce new rules to provide for citizenship by naturalization of all children born and raised in Ireland, irrespective of the nationality or migration status of their parents. This proposes to change existing citizenship legislation, including the changes introduced following the 27th Amendment to the Constitution. Existing citizenship laws have been carefully calibrated. Ireland, in most cases, adopts less onerous requirements than many other member states. Ireland confers citizenship to a child born on the island of Ireland if one or other of its parents has been lawfully resident on the island of Ireland for 3 out of the last 4 years. But any changes, as outlined in this motion, to citizenship laws must be carefully considered. Since 2010, just over 27,000 children, the vast majority of whom were born to non-EEA nationals, have become citizens of Ireland through naturalization. Minister McHugh wants to give parents a strong voice in ensuring that school costs are kept to a minimum. He intends to ask schools to develop a parent and student charter. It's intended that every school will be required to set out a financial statement. There's also been many changes in relation to the GP care. The deputy has referred to some of those. Kim Corla, I hope it's clear to the House that the government is pursuing a broad-based, ambitious and necessary strategy underpinned by actions in order to ensure that our children receive the very best of services and the very best start in life, a fair start that they deserve.
We move on to